Hello and welcome to this special episode of Four Wall Chats. I'm Matt.
And I'm V.
Because it's our 10th episode, V allowed me to change the living room up a little bit and make it a bit cooler.
I did. It was a pain.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But we won't be doing it again, I'm sure.
Well, we'll see. It's also our 10th week in lockdown. Can you believe it? And in light of that, we're going to be catching up with two of our previous guests to see how they're getting on. We're going to be speaking to Katharine Powell. She featured in episode 1. She's a retail manager and has been furloughed.
We'll also be talking to Morson, who is in episode 2. He's a professional musician with a lot of his work being postponed until further notice. Let's chat to them.
So obviously we chatted to you guys individually some weeks back. We're now on week 10 of the lockdown. How have you guys found it?
Well, I can't believe it's been 10 weeks, just to put that out there. It's just a bit surreal that it's been that long. I feel like I've been in lockdown for ages, but then it's also gone really quickly. But I've just got completely used to it. I think I had adapted to it by the end of week 1, to be fair. So I think I've enjoyed it a little bit too much, which I've felt guilty about at certain points. But obviously it's just all about being kind to yourself and being happy.
With what you were saying with not knowing how long it feels short and long, it's like a vacuum. I think we've been existing in a vacuum, and you don't get the same perspective of time moving. So it's all out the window. So yeah, it does probably feel at once a small amount of time and a large amount of time, just because it's nothing. It's just a vacuum. I don't feel like there's any kind of movement to it. It's just
it definitely feels like a pause button, doesn't it? Like it just feels like everything's stopped. And I'll start with you, Katharine. Have you learned anything during this time, would you say?
Well, I learned how to make banana bread.
Hey.
Thanks to episode 1.
Perfected it now.
Well, I tried like 4 times. And I wouldn't say it's still perfect. I've got some bananas, so I'm going to nail it for the 5th time. But I've been doing some painting. I've been doing gardening, because I've always lived in flats. This is the first time I've actually lived in a house on my own. So I've really taken to gardening, and sometimes it's getting the motivation to get up and get out there. But once I'm out there, I absolutely love it. So yeah, I'd say they're the main things that I've learned as a new skill.
I mean, I've been cooking a lot. That's the thing that I've always enjoyed doing anyway, but having time, and it's been really important for me psychologically to have that focus for almost every day. I'll kind of head towards cooking a meal in the evening, and that being something that is coming, you're going to enjoy doing, and you're going to enjoy eating it. So it's been really nice to have that as a sort of hinging point for the day.
I feel like I've not cooked enough. I used to always use getting back home from work as an excuse why I've not cooked anything extravagant or learnt a new recipe, but I haven't actually done that. So that's one of my regrets, is that I haven't got like new ingredients and tried new things. I think I've been so paranoid in the supermarket. I'm just like, right, grab what you can make.
It is tricky, yeah. You can't really think straight. You can't like relax and think, what do I actually want? Because you're shuffling along this line, especially with the smaller ones where it's one way.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't really think straight.
I feel like Dale Winton's waiting for me to come back at the checkout with a inflatable banana or something.
It's like now as well, going down the aisles. I did it the other day. I was in Tesco and I went down, I was at the second aisle, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've forgotten halloumi from the first aisle. What do I do? Do I turn back? Do I get someone from the store to help me get it? What do I do? That was like that was a big thought process.
I've left supermarkets without things that I wanted to get for that reason.
Yeah.
I've left.
I'm not going to lie, I've just gone back.
Like you both mentioned, you've had extra time through this process and for very different reasons. Katharine, you've been furloughed, and Liam, a lot of your gigs have been sort of either postponed or cancelled, etc. So how is that? You did touch on sort of how you've been keeping busy, but how has it been trying to find things to fill your time?
I think because I'm a manager, I'm so used to being organised. So I've continued to do lists. Whether I've actually ticked them off, I don't know. But I've just been making lists, and there's so many things that I need to do around the house that I've been able to accomplish, which I probably wouldn't have done previously. It could be little things like I've been writing on my actual calendar, usually with plans to socialise or events. I've been writing on there, do the washing this day. So it's just little things to make you feel like you've still got a plan for the week.
Well, I've never had so many clean clothes in my life.
Yeah, it's so exciting. But yeah, I'd say that's what I've been doing just to keep myself busy. But then also, if I feel like having a lazy day, I think, especially on social media now, it's all about people doing workouts and learning new skills and doing this and doing that. But I think even if you sat in front of the telly watching a series or films all day, as long as that's what you're happy doing, there's no problem with that at all. So I've just been making sure I've been getting that balance and not feeling bad about it, really.
As soon as there's a name for something, then we can talk about it a lot more easily. I think they called it toxic productivity or something like that. Anything can be toxic if it's fed through the lens of a huge media conglomerate that is focused on the wrong things. But obviously, it's for most of us, it's not really a problem because we take the things we see and we filter them and we kind of rationalize them in our own heads. But for somebody who is having a hard time or isn't necessarily as adept at seeing things rationally, then we are presented with a really clear picture that we are supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z. And if we're not doing them, then we're failing in some way. We've
had a bit of that even just doing this. Like there's been weeks where, we haven't really felt like doing it. And it's almost like, we've got to keep on that, putting 1 hour a week thing. But then you realise we're just doing it for fun. We shouldn't feel the pressure, really.
No, definitely. And just on that point, Katharine, so you were saying that you're returning, so obviously you're a retail manager in a store. How are you feeling about returning to work after so many weeks and knowing it's going to be within the new social distancing measures, etc.?
It's strange. There's a couple of people that are going in first next week, but I'm going in the week after because they're trying to filter people through. And it's, I don't know, it's a bit bittersweet because I've got used to it so well, like I've already said. But it's got to come to an end at some point and normality does have to resume. But I know what my work ethic is like. I'll just go in and it will be a brand new challenge. Like I've only ever done retail for 12, 13 years. So it's all I know. And everyone's going into this new dynamic, which is new for everyone. It's going to be a challenge, but yeah, just have to just be as positive as possible and hope for the best outcome, really, and just make sure we follow all the rules. It's going to be difficult because I'm used to measuring someone's inside leg, never mind keeping 2 meters.
You're currently both single. Have you ventured out to do social distancing dating or anything?
I've been on dating apps and I've had a few video calls and I've been on a couple of social distant walks. So yeah, I've been talking to a few different people because in my mind, I thought now's the time that you can get to know someone without any distractions and you can just get to know each other for you as people. I mean, I wouldn't say it's gone very well. But I'm just unlucky in love anyway, so.
Dates normally need their kind of bits that go along with dates, don't they? Like being able to go somewhere for a drink or something. So I suppose when you take all of that away, it's tricky, isn't it?
Yeah.
Make for a lot of really awkward dates because it's not how we normally design a date to be. So it's probably going to be weird.
If you must know, I fell in love with the checkout guy at Aldi and I started to sweat because I got that nervous. And I still didn't even get his name.
Well, you know where he is.
Well, yeah.
He'll be
I
back.
also know where he lives because I managed to ask him that as well. One of the questions I asked was, so have you always worked here? And obviously I meant I didn't know whether he was temporary staff. And he was like, yeah, fresh out the womb, came straight on the checkout.
He's got a good chat then. That's quite witty.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how you had any time to have a chat in Aldi. They just throw all the shopping at you.
Well, I was getting this what was the conversation start because I was getting 3 weeks worth of shopping. When I told him I lived on my own, his face was a picture. The conveyor belt was full. I mean, full. That's why I was sweating because obviously you're lobbing it in the bags and I was trying to organise it. And then I was trying to make conversation all at the same time.
In terms of now the social distance measures being eased, are you enjoying the social distance walks with other people from other households, other friends? Has it made any difference? Or is it kind of too hard because we can't hug them? Or
I think it makes a big difference as soon as you see someone face to face. There's something that we're not quite touching. We're not quite getting somewhere that we need to get to over these virtual meetings. It doesn't quite hit the spot. So I think when you actually see your friends in person, there's an extra level. There's a bit of magic there that's really nice that we do. Yeah, makes a big difference, definitely.
I think it just comes across as a bit more natural when you're with people, like just to be able to watch people's body language and their mannerisms more, and like you feel a chemistry with anyone, whether it's a family member, a friend or a partner. It's just a physical energy, isn't it? So you feel that in person. I think I've been quite lucky, even though I don't drive. A lot of people that I know do drive, so they've been able to drive to me, and I'm lucky that I've got a garden that they can come and sit in, or go for walks. It's just meant it's easier, and you just don't feel as isolated. So I've been very lucky in that sense.
It is really nice actually, because I kind of stayed isolated for like, I think it was probably like the whole 2 months, because you were doing the shops, pretty much. So I didn't go out, and then it was just only like the last like week or so that I've actually been going out, and like seeing you, Liam, you know, in person and stuff was lovely, and like seeing other people, and it definitely, like, I feel so much more relaxed now that I've been able to actually see people in person.
You probably didn't know what you were missing, like emotionally, in terms of emotional sustenance. You know, you wouldn't necessarily realize that there is something that you're not quite getting without actually seeing people in front of you. You know, I'm the same. I definitely can be quite stubborn sometimes about telling myself that I don't need this or I don't need that, and I'll be absolutely fine, until I actually, either through my own actions or through someone else's actions, I find myself in this situation. And as an example here, where I find myself where I'm in front of somebody and I can interact with them face to face, I realised how much I did miss it. I didn't really realise until I got there.
No, definitely. How are you feeling about generally, you know, sort of slowly returning back to normality?
To be honest, I feel like I could continue doing this for a lot longer, as long as you could go from house to house. And like I don't mind, like I love going to the local pub, as you know. Like I'm more of a local pub person than I am bars and clubs or whatever. So that doesn't interest me. I would just love for my dad to come and stay for the weekend and have a barbecue and have drinks and have people over. Like that to me would make my summer if we're just able to do that.
I'd like to think that it is the things that you're talking about, like the small things with family and friends that are important. They're more important than going out to town or something like that. I mean, obviously people will miss that. People want to do that, but I would hope that it's reminded us of what's really, really valuable.
So how have you found not being able to get your hair cut professionally?
Well, to me, it's not so much about getting it cut, because I had a good cut in Feb. This is like short for me, but it's the roots. Funnily enough, I'm not a natural ginger, and the roots give it away.
I can't see. I mean, I'm not very perceptive, but I can't see any difference between your hair colour and whatever's going on at the root.
Oh, thanks.
So
I'll take that.
That's a compliment. You're gonna have to take it. That wasn't a very good one, was it?
To be fair, I've already booked in with the hairdressers, because they're saying they're open in July. My birthday's end of July, so I've booked in, so that's good.
And Liam, you've your hair's looking like it's just had a fresh trim.
I got sick of it last night, so I took the clippers to it and managed to do a fade of some description. Recently, this is probably really bad from a hairdresser's point of view, but I've been taking the clippers on the longest setting and just running it over the top. So not pressing down, but just grazing it, so it takes some length off without actually taking, as it would do, you know, because it's so long on the fringe and the top anyway, that I could get away with doing that. And then just blending the sides up to that point. A hairdresser would hate it, I'm sure, if they took a good look at it, because you can tell, can't you, when you know what you're doing, you can tell the difference. But from just a glance, I think I got it.
You're both lucky that you've got hair, to be honest.
Hairlines.
Yes.
Well, I had a go at cutting my own, actually. I did my own recently, actually, and I think I've done okay. The issue I have is I have very high peaks, but I have since I was like 18. So I have to be very careful to keep the little hair that goes over that little peak, because otherwise I'll look like I'm balding.
How have you found staying, because obviously, Liam, in your line of work as a musician, being creatives that, you know, kind of at the heart of, you know, every day. How have you found staying creative during this time?
I've been doing okay. I mean, the the amount of time we've had obviously has been conducive to me being able to sit down, try something, walk away, come back. Like yesterday, I was doing some composition and I hit a bit of a brick wall. So I went for a walk around the park. It was a lovely day. Came back an hour later, had another pop at it. And normally you come back an hour later, well, you've got to go or something's happening or whatever. So the fact that I've been able to come and go from it, it's been really refreshing because it reminds you that it's what we've been saying already. You can't force anything like that anyway. So having the time not to force it and just mess around and throw things in and then walk away and come back at them, that's been really nice. It's been one of the most important things. That and cooking has been, and exercise are the three things that are really sort of making me feel okay through all of this. I've never really felt like anything's got on top of me. And if it has, then it's because I've been not doing enough of one of those three things. It becomes quite simple then. And I kind of buy into this. We are genetically predisposed to struggle, to strive, to chase. It's in our DNA and it's in our makeup biologically. So if you plonk someone in an environment where they no longer have to do that for whatever reason, and we're going to have to be very careful about how we mediate it, because we've got this grating urge constantly to chase and fight and hunt, whether that's a deer or achievements or whatever we feel we're supposed to be doing. I think it's the same mechanism inside us that generates that feeling. And it's not going to go away because it's the way we are genetically. So I think the only challenge is to learn to deal with that and balance it and mediate it.
Yeah.
I've actually seen a couple of people do it already, but I'm tempted to do it myself, either video myself or write a passage to my future self in 6 months to a year's time, probably more a year when things go back to normal, let's be honest, and talk to my future self as to how I'm feeling now and to make sure I haven't forgot the things that I've learned.
I think one thing I've learned from this whole thing as well is the fact that how damaging like social networks can be, you know, like or you know, like social media, you know, with like Facebook and Instagram and stuff. I find that like I found myself initially going on Facebook a lot more than I would ever usually do, and I felt like my mood going down a bit more. And I think that it's, you know, because it's all cherry picked, isn't it, what you see? I mean, it's always the case, but I feel like it's more so now than ever. Yeah. Because we've got so much free time on our hands. Like
and also, depending on what mood you're in when you're looking at something, you could be triggered by something, depending on who you are. Not everybody is. This isn't conducive to everybody, but I'm definitely somebody that falls into that category. I've deleted Instagram, and then I just go on the website now and again if, you know, I want to like look at social media for this or, you know, catch up on what my friends are doing, but I'm not there scrolling all the time, which has definitely helped me.
Yeah, because you do it out of habit. You're not actually going on there. It's just almost like a safety blanket. You've got that free moment, so you're automatically on Instagram. Your brain hasn't even said, "Oh, I want to go on Instagram." You're already on it without even realizing it, and that's quite scary sometimes. So that's why I've been painting. Like if I've got like free time in the morning, instead of sitting on the sofa and going on Facebook or Instagram, I'm stood in the kitchen listening to music and painting, and that's been. Like even whilst my dinner's cooking, usually you would be catching up on your phone, wouldn't you? But I've been trying not to, and I've actually just been putting my phone down, putting it on Do Not Disturb, and actually having those moments to myself.
Yeah. I mean, there are times that social media can be really good for us, but we project. I think what we bring to it is what we're going to take away from it. We project ourselves into the social media. So if you're coming at it from a positive angle, you're probably going to see positive things in social media, like friends doing cool things or things that we can be entertained by, or just having the enjoyment of seeing what our loved ones and friends are up to. But more often than not, if we're not bringing our own strong positive self into that social media environment, then we're going to project that onto it, and it's just going to become poisonous. I often refer to social media as poisonous for myself because I don't feel like it does me any good most of the time. And if you're like not quite on the mark with yourself that day, then you're not going to get anything good from it because you're not bringing anything good to it. Just
on the back of social media, I've probably been using it more to post because I've actually made highlight reels on my Instagram of quarantine, just again as something to look back on. And as you know, V, and Matt, you've got me on social media as well. I'm very much myself. You know how It's all that whole Instagram versus reality hoo-ha. I'm myself online. I'm not trying to be an influencer or trying to make things look perfect. I just be myself. And I've actually had quite a few people reply to me, people that I know really well and people who are just acquaintances or who I've met through life. And they've actually replied to my stories and they've been like, honestly, Katharine, your stories make my day. Like, please keep posting because you make me laugh. And I've had that quite a lot. And it's actually really nice to know that, like, I bring a positive impact to people rather than them just, like you say, browsing.
Because whenever we go on, it's a comparison thing. We measure ourselves next to the people we see. And we always do that subconsciously or consciously. I think it's inevitable. I don't think anybody could say that they don't do that. But the problem comes when people aren't representing themselves accurately. So they're representing an unattainable version of themselves. And if everybody sees that and they're trying to aspire to that, well, they're never going to get there. So if we're all trying to be ourselves online, as it was originally conceived to be, I guess, then it should be pretty safe that way.
Mm-hmm.
I always remember hearing someone always, I can't remember who it was. I think it's someone within Facebook in the early days, and they said you should only, the whole point of it is to only post something that's going to benefit others. Which I think is, if everyone did that, then it would be such a more positive environment, I think.
Yeah.
So let's turn the tables on you two. How's it been for you in the last 10 weeks?
Do you want to go first?
I'll let you go first. I'll just copy what you say.
Of course you will. As soon as my job ended, actually, I really took it for granted. I just panicked and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not working. And I had that fear of that kind of failure. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do during this time? It's put all this pressure on myself. But I think I've learned a lot in this time, and to not put so much pressure on myself, to enjoy the now. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect going forward, but I've definitely learned things which I think I'll take forward with me, and also do more of the things that do spark joy, as they say. So like baking, I never baked before. I was always a cook. My gosh, I love baking now. I make many mistakes.
You're literally making all sorts of cakes.
I make donuts the other day. I'm like, when do I bake? But anyway, so
Matt's not complaining, I'm sure.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Keep it coming. I feel like this whole period is like a reset time. It's almost like time to recoup and and kind of like take a break from all the chaos that's been going on, with work and everything. It's just, I've quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, you've handled it really well, actually. You've been so positive and upbeat, and you're happy I think you're quite good at just enjoying simple things in this time. You've kind of just been, you've just got on with it. You've embraced it all. You've been very good with it all.
I miss seeing my friends though.
No, I think
that's
it's
the
helped.
hardest thing. Not even just being able to hug someone. That's been really hard. But as we're getting out of the lockdown, and I've actually started to see friends, from a safe distance. That's been really nice.
So, just out of interest, with the Four Walls chat, are you going to miss it after lockdown? Like, have you thought about anything else that you could do? Because I think what you've done has been so amazing, and it would be a shame for it just to end. Is there anything else in the pipeline?
I think we'd like to. I think we'd like to continue doing it. Probably not so frequently, but I think we'd like to continue it, and probably do interviews in person. Actually physically do it. And I think there's so much you can get from someone from their body language. Like I know personally, I would do a lot better talking to someone in person than doing this. I think. I mean, you don't have any trouble doing it, do you? I think
you can do it if you can do it here. If you can feel like you can make some really good content here in this situation, then the rest of it is going to be easier, surely.
That's
really good foundation.
We would like to keep doing it. It might, and it will be nice to be able to do a whole interview where the mention of coronavirus is no more, so we can move it on and maybe, make it a bit more flexible, a bit more versatile and cover different topics.
Well, it's been a delight to talk to you both again. And hopefully next time we have you on, it'll actually be in person, which would be lovely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for having me on again. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you're wanting to listen to me.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a pleasure to be involved.
Amazing. Thank you. I think it's safe to say that, we've all taken something from this experience, whether it's learning a new hobby or a skill or appreciating family.
Definitely. But at the same time, I don't think it matters how busy you've been or not. I think knowing that, it's okay to just pause for a moment can be good for us. And I've certainly learned that.
Definitely. Well, thanks so much for watching. Stay strong and safe, beautiful people.